build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance that's bit in his eye. Oh, well, they gave me balls, but I can see between to a dusty yard and long gone green. We call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as a judge.
Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers, Shortbangers. I'm Matty, I'm joined tonight by John. John, how are you doing?
I'm alright, I'm 4 or 5 pints happy. I'm good.
Happy days. And we know this because when we started recording, rather than shutting up like we normally do, so I can just get straight into the intro, you were blethering away about to tell us a story and I had to interrupt you, so sorry about that. Also, we've got a newly woken up Brian. Brian, how are you doing?
Gradually waking up, coming out my slumber.
So this was a Scotland game-induced slumber, I take it.
It was actually, I fell asleep during extra time, so I almost missed the podcast, but you couple of randy bastards woke me up.
I wish I'd missed the game. It was honking, absolutely honking. One of those games actually was trying to find a bookies where I could get odds on it finishing 0-0 after penalties.
I'm sure Paint would watch that game dry.
Right, Shortbangers, usual format. We've got loads of questions to get through for people. We've got 20 minutes on the clock, so I shall start the wee timer now. And we'll go to Hibs.net for the first question, which came from KDY Hibs. He said, what Hibs player, past or present, would you most like to have went on a night out on the lash with? He picked Mickey Weir. So, John, who, past or present, which Hibby would you most like to have gone for a drink with?
Oh, that's changed it. I was going to say Gary O'Connor just because I had a different interpretation of going out on the lash with.
Listen, you interpret it any way you want. If you want to have Gary O'Connor and have the weekend of your life, you go ahead.
Definitely Gary O'Connor.
What about you, Brian?
I'm going to choose John Rankin, but it has to be on the one day of the year that he's allowed a McDonald's. Let's go wild.
I would probably take go with Martin Boyle, just if you remember how long he was out after we won the cup. I think he was, like a week-long bend that he went on. So
I think he might still be on that bender. Like he's just been ludicrously happy ever since.
Green Reaper on Hibsnet said, flip side of that is who would you least to go on the lash with? He picked Malkowski because he'd probably drop the pints on the way back for the bar. So, John, who would you least like to have gone for a drink with?
It's probably someone like, I'm going to say like Stephen Glass or something. He seemed maybe a bit straight-laced. Just like home in bed and tucked up for 9 o'clock. Nobody wanted to go out with that.
Least, Brian Kerr. Hopefully think I was just out by myself.
I'll say John Rankin in all the days when he's no allowed at McDonald's. Right, Collins, he's messaged us. He said, if you were arrested for no reason and your face was flashed all over the news, what would your family and friends assume that you had done? Right.
Oh, God. Numerous. Interfering with livestock.
John?
I actually, when I was in the boozer earlier, I asked the folk that I was with what they thought, and my wife said indecent exposure on account of the time that I came home bevvied and took a piss in full view of the entire street.
Well, I reckon it'd be for something to do with the podcast, either somewhere we would cross the line or said something about somebody or something like that. That's what I think it would be for me. Right, let's go to Twitter for questions. Right, John Fife asked, he said, he's never had a double yolk egg. Have you had a double yolk egg?
No, but I was reading earlier in the week, and I don't know if this was a joke or what, but seemingly, like I saw an egg carton that was advertising itself as only containing double yolk eggs. How can you know that your chicken or your hen or whatever it is that lays them is laid a double yolk egg?
Heavier.
It's what it is. You use Siamese twin chickens. Like that, like if they're co-joined twins, like if that's the politically correct way to say it. But
That's Siamese chicken.
Siamese hens. And every egg that they lay is a double yoker. That's how
Okay.
they kid.
But no, I haven't.
Brian, you ever had a double yolk egg?
No, not that I'm aware of. No.
I have. It was good. Yolk's the best part of an egg, in my opinion, unless you're making meringue, obviously. Right, next question. David, come in. After the comedy awful defender in Sunday's games with Man United and Liverpool, what's the worst or funniest defensive cock-up you've seen?
Ollie Gutskalks and Paul Lovering, I think it was Hibs in the first division, maybe against Dundee. It seemed to ricochet off the pair of them half a dozen times before it ended up in the back of the net.
What about you, Brian?
Is it Hibs? Hibs
Could be
related?
any.
Or...
It could be any. I'll actually, somebody shared one on Twitter yesterday, which I'll come to in a wee minute after you've had your answer.
The only one that sticks out is Peter Enkelman trying to control the throw-in.
Birmingham, aye.
Aston Villa. Was it Aston Villa or Birmingham?
I can't remember. That's the only one that sticks out.
It was the Midlands derby, wasn't it?
Aye, it was the boy to the throw in and they just let it roll. I watched that at Robbie's bar, I'm sure. There was one where the boy tried to clear it and kicked it off his own face and it went in. Have you seen that one? That's immense. I don't even care how you do that, but
I think he did give himself a broken nose as well.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he got hurt with doing it. You'd pretend though, wouldn't you? Like if you did it, that'd be when you'd be like, oh shit, you'd stay down for a wee while and hope by the time
you'd been shot.
Hope you're sympathetic, aye.
Do you mind the one with Phil Babb when he goes sliding in, fucking wishbone style, try to clear the ball and he just goes into the post with his balls first?
Oh, Dallion. There's the one that was shared on Twitter was Hearts at Ibrox where they all ran for offside, but got it chronically wrong.
You just imagine that guy in a touchline with a sort of shooting pistol.
It's like somebody had left an unattended poppy tin at the other end of the pitch. Go after it. Right, that was a good question. Right, Raimondo Brun, right, he's ordered this Pool's pin on hand grenade. Can we all agree that chimpanzees are funnier and generally more amusing when dressed in little costumes? PG-6 adverts are obviously the best adverts ever. More cycling as simians is what we need in these hard times. So, Brian, chimpanzees dressed up or not dressed up?
100% dressed up.
John?
I kind of disagree with that.
Do you mind when they were moving a piano? I think I've shown my age here, but there was definitely when they were like removal men.
Was that another PG Tips advert?
Aye.
Aye, I've got the vaguest recollection of that as well.
If you were to have a chimpanzee in the Hibs team, what position would you play it?
Keeper.
I was going to say keeper just for like dancing about the posts, like just getting in. Oh, in fact, have you seen the film Bedknobs and Broomsticks? They've got an orangutan, I'm sure, in goals that just sort of like hangs on and slaps the ball away up the other end of the pitch. So attack's the best form of defence. Get him in there.
There you go. Mind Hearts did it with what's his face, Presley. Stuck him in the centre half. Alan Shaw, he says, right, he's got a three-parter here. Where has Brian been? I don't think he's seen a catalogue of everywhere you've been, Brian, but a summary. I don't know if we'll be able to be held against you in court or anything like that.
In the last month, I have been in various places. We'll just leave it at that.
Various places and various faces.
Orifices.
Alan also asked, will we hold him to his promise of a free pie and cake? So that sounds like a Longbangers day out, doesn't it? Aldo's Bakery, so...
Well, we were all due to meet up this weekend for a drink, but then COVID took over, so that's kind of put the kibosh on that. So I'm definitely up for meeting up for a pie.
For a pie and a cake at some point, right? And what are your top three sweets?
From our bakers or just in general?
Just in general.
Dark chocolate bounty, number 1.
Weirdo.
Connoisseur.
Right. You need another 2 for a top 3, John.
I know. Fuck off.
We've only got 20 minutes.
A Freddo and a double decker.
Brian?
I don't like sweets, but I'm gonna minstrels, Maltesers, and you know what? Sometimes you can't beat a nicely timed Mars bar.
Oh, I had a Mars bar on, what day was it? Monday. I was starving. Had to, when you get shaky, you think I just need some sugar. Wee bit Mars bar. That's what I had.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a bottle of Iron Brew. It's quality.
I know what diabetes is called.
Potentially, aye. If you've seen, well, you can see the shape of me, and it's probably quite a high chance it is diabetes, but what can you do? You've got to feed it. I'm not going to argue with it. That's science. Right, my top 3 are go Whisper, Twirl, and Smints. Like a wee mint. Okay, right.
It's only
Smith.
sweet. Fuck off.
Well, Polar Mints in. Right, Polar Mints are sweeties. I'll take
That's
them.
just practical. You just have that if you're about to neck a bird.
Well, you've seen me.
It's enjoyable.
Have you just got? You always got Smints on hand, Matty, just in case you're going to neck a bird. Is that what you're saying?
Always.
You just never know when you're going to kick off.
The next question comes from M. Dow. Did Brian get a 69? I think this relates to the fact that it was episode 69 and you missed it on Tuesday night, Brian. You don't have to answer that. Was quite a personal question, isn't it?
Did I get a 69 on Tuesday? No.
Yeah, specifically on Tuesday.
Not
right.
on Tuesday, no.
What about Monday or Wednesday or the rest of them?
No, no. I don't do sex anymore.
It's the right podcast for you then.
Not really through choice. I just.
Next question for M. Dow is: has John been to Wrestle Rig yet?
No. Honestly, the whole Wrestle Rig saga has completely flummoxed me. I just always thought it was Wrestle Rig, having never been there. But I'm going to make a point of going ASAP and trying to get myself pictured underneath a Wrestle Rig Road sign, if I
I
can.
grew up there. Wrestle Rig.
Did you?
What's
Yeah.
the point of that?
Yep,
Why is there a T in there? What's the point of that T?
Don't know. It's just there, isn't it?
Just there.
Just
Right.
a nonsense.
David Loudon asked who was the better fullback, Roland Edge or Barry Prenderville?
Fucking hell.
There's a choice for you.
Barry Prenderville, because if I remember, he scored an absolute screamer. It might not have been for us, actually. It might have been the team that he played for before he joined us.
More than likely. John?
Well, I was going to say Barry Prenderville, but on account of his name, I think Roland edges it.
Aye, I'll go with Roland Edge as that as well. Right, Kaiser Soze, do you think Jay Wright is still a good signing?
Yes.
John animated about this one on Twitter. If you could get animated on Twitter without being a gift, I suppose.
I'm not going to get drawn on it because we've got limited time, but it's an absolute shambles that people are trying to write him off already. He's played like half of, or been involved in half of the games the Hibs have played, and he's still got a lot to offer, a lot of time to show his potential.
Jury's out. Not
See,
seen enough. But
What I
I've
would
seen.
point folks is Joe Newell and Christian Deutsch. Like there's folk writing off Jay Wright already, and if you remember the chat about Newell this time last season, where folk were saying he was like the worst player they'd ever seen. Oh no, that was Josh Fair. The second worst player that they'd ever
Aye.
seen. You know, him and Deutsch got absolutely slaughtered, and then you look at them now, and they're so. I'm with you, John. I think I would back him now, or the jury's out, whatever. Right, Glenn Schroeder said, when you have the pizza at half time, what one would you pick, and are the chips a necessary side? Who wants to do that, John?
I never go for food at half time because I've got a superstition about it. And Kieran Power very kindly reminds me about the woman who was pictured on TV wrapping chips in her pizza, and I keep meaning to do it, but obviously COVID's got in the way of that, so I've never had the opportunity to do it yet.
Brian?
It's hard enough to get me in the ground, never mind the fucking kiosk. So
I've never got the last time I went in, and I tried to order food at the kiosk, and they wouldn't take. So I got like a pizza, a couple of pies, and a cup of Coca-Cola, and they wouldn't accept a £50 note. So I had to pay with 2 20s and a 10 because it's extortionate.
I got the joke.
So,
And
thanks.
for everyone else.
It was one of those ones where the tumbleweed goes past there. It's like, oh, fuck's sakes. Right, move on quick. Right, Neil Whelan, for some it's Pringles that once you pop, you just can't stop. But what is it for each of the bangers? What makes them pop? I'll go first. Heroin. It's a bit moreish, isn't it? John, what's your advice?
Just about anything. I'm a greedy bastard. Reese's Pieces. Let's go for that. They're quality. Just anything peanut butter based, to be honest. Or anything peanut butter or contains or is maple syrup. I could drink maple syrup out the bottle. It is the liquid crack cocaine for me.
Brian?
Best.
Did you answer there?
Yeah. Pint of
What
best.
did you say?
Pint of best.
Oh, pint of best. Right, I thought you were hesitating there. Right, okay. Marcus
I thought you said breast.
Breast.
Oh, that as well. Yeah.
Marcus Calderon said, should we think about naming either one of the East or West stands? Can be a bit boring. Seen rumours ages ago that the East would be renamed the Sir Tom Farmer stand, but not sure how much truth there was in that. Would you rename the stands?
For a wee bit of a laugh, what we call the West stand like the Morningside stand, like or the Quiet stand or something.
Well, I think you're missing a trick here. You could have the Matty, the John, the Brian. Craig can have the Dunbar end. There you go. We're sorted.
How are you going to name a stand after Brian if he's never set foot in Easter Road for the last 10 years?
That's all right. That'd be a wee incentive to go.
Aye.
A wee stand named after you here. Just set up the back of the Brian. With the bogs in it, so like everybody shakes himself at half time.
Well, you're going to have Andrex triple ply in mine, so that's a given. So
And,
do it every week.
And everyone will have to look like Father Ted in mine.
With mine, you just get a commode under your seat. Just for those times you can't quite make it. In fact, your seat is just a toilet. You just sit there for 90 minutes.
Right, Tony Swanson, who was your favourite sub at Easter Road? Brian?
Favourite sub at Easter Road? Ivan Sproul.
Good shout. John?
Amadou Conte. The things I've seen that man do coming off the substitutes bench. He was just an absolutely woeful footballer. It got to the point that he was so bad that we were willing him to score, me and my mates. Just somehow like do something outrageous. Like he's going to score here, diving header, overhead kick. And to give him his due, like he tried them all. He was just absolute humpty.
He tried them all. He did. He got us into Europe, didn't he? Conte go at Fir Park.
Big toe for Ivan Sproul, super sub.
Well, you can't go to subs without mentioning Liam Henderson to deliver, eh? Probably the best substitute that's ever been made by a Hibs manager. Although in saying that, I remember Jay Shields getting brought on one time to run down the clock. So Snow's cut and dried, as you think. Right, 150k on Harlan Hill. Should a Thunderdome type technical era be encouraged between the home and away dugouts? If so, should the standard 2 Rages enter, 1 Raj leaves rule stand? So a Thunderdome at the dugout.
Aye.
Who would you want as your manager if that was the case? Because like Jack Ross is well spoken and everything, but I'm not sure he looks like he would leather everybody. Not like some of the
Yogi.
managers we've had in the past.
By the way, I would want Yogi. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, but if you are, you'll remember. I think Mel Gibson's Mad Max character went up against a boy called Master Blaster, and it was a big, like, strong guy with a wee guy on the back. So I'm thinking maybe like John Hughes on the back of, I don't know, Mixu.
I don't mind Lennon tried to do something like that with Jim Duffy.
Oh, that was
we were-
outrageous.
Was it Morton?
Aye.
Aye. So Hibs innovative as always. I've actually fucking tried it.
The
Right.
world's first in football.
Hybe's Allen, Cremola foam or Soda Stream?
Do you know, I don't think I've ever tried Cremola Foam. Have you? Any of you guys?
Aye. How can you not try that? What? Have you tried Soda Stream?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
Soda Stream was always a disappointment. Never lived
Aye.
up to expectations.
Why would you not just go out and buy yourself a bottle of Coke? Rather than go to all that hassle.
Ah, fuck, we're out of time. It's the timer going.
On the
Uh,
timer. Going.
Right, couple of quick other questions then. Right, chips and cheese or chips and curry sauce? That was from Matt Reedy.
Chips and curry sauce.
Chips, cheese, and curry sauce.
Fucking weirdo. Chips and cheese. Right, John McCune, I'm going to have to carry this one over because he said, fed up buying the club calendar and playing the Who Leaves First lottery. You're designing one that celebrates iconic players and events from your lifetime. Who or what would be celebrated each month? May is already taken by Sir David Gray. I'm going to take that. That's a long answer because you need to think of something for each month. So we'll carry that one over and maybe do that on
Definitely.
Longbangers. It's a good question.
Mhm.
Who was the better keeper, Oxley or Maxwell? That was from Budgie McBudge.
Oxley.
Agreed.
Oxley, because I've probably seen him make a save, and he scored. He scored for Hibs, so I think that seals it.
Right. Ryan Taylor, is Rocky the best keeper you've seen at Easter Road? No.
No. Andy Gorham.
Aye. Gorham or
Leighton,
Leighton?
Leighton. Yeah.
Leighton. Peak Jim Leighton was as good as Gorham, I think.
Yeah.
I think Marciano's got slightly better kicking abilities than Jim Leighton.
To be fair, Stephen Hawkins had slightly better kicking abilities than Jim Leighton. That was one of the insults. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the film My Left Foot, and the character in that's called Christy Brown. I remember it was reading in a magazine or something, and they described something as being as useful as Christy Brown in a right foot arse kicking contest. But if you need to you need to see the film to get the reference anyway, right? But aye, somebody will get that. Last question of the night came from Liam Fogarty. Vladimir Romanoff or Craig White? If you were a small business owner, who would you rather does your books?
Jesus.
Christ. Craig White.
I'm gonna say Romanov because at least they had some good times. Like Craig White came in and just decimated Rangers, didn't he?
Romanoff had better banter. You think? Hey, like he was boxing. Was it Roman Bednar? He just put boxing gloves on and punched him and hooked him square in the dish. He didn't care if he was allowed to hit him back or not.
Do you remember the story about like the sick the sick or the injured players had to go in and like stick their fingers in like some sort of box that had like golden rods sticking out of it?
Oh yeah.
Aye,
Yeah.
Do you remember that story?
Rima, was that her name? Rima and her
Rima,
magic rods or something?
Aye.
And then the results went into the fax machine and it spewed out the team for the weekend.
Aye.
Fucking mad times. It was mental. Was they regular had the beating us at that time as well, just because of the sheer fucking amount of money they spent. But that's bonkers, eh? Imagine if we'd had their act together back in those days, we would have pummeled them.
That's like Balamori, sort of Archie the Inventor type shit. Eh? Just wow.
All sorts going on. Right, that's us at the end of the show. That was good. 20 minutes flew in. Brian, sorry for waking you up.
It's fine. No bother.
Yeah, I'm glad we did. You can get back to your bed now. Mind take your contact lenses out.
Yes.
John, get yourself a pint of water before you go to bed so you don't hangover in the morning.
Cheers, mate.
Some dad advice for you. And everybody, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week for Longbangers. Cheers for now.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.